Shana Tova, good morning. Today I'd like to tell you about Randy Pausch. Randy Pausch was a computer science professor at Carnegie Mellon University, and he helped develop interactive computer technologies. If you've ever been to Disney, the ride where you ride on Aladdin's carpet, that idea, the technology behind it, that's Randy Pausch. A few years ago, Pausch discovered that he was terminally ill. So he set out to deliver one last lecture, one last opportunity to do what he did best before he left the world: teach. During this lecture, Pausch confirmed that the most important lessons that he could offer reached well beyond computer engineering or virtual simulation. For his last lecture, Pausch taught the lessons of life. Traditionally, the work of academics, they stay within the ivy-lined walls of the universities, but not this last lecture. Spread over YouTube, Oprah, and all over the network news programs, the world was touched by the simple life wisdom of this accomplished academic. With personal anecdotes, a bright smile, and the humility of a man living his last days, he touched millions. But this last lecture, it wasn't written for us. The lecture was for a very specific audience: Pausch's 3 young children. One night, I was up with my own baby son, and as I soothed him, with the baby in one hand and a magazine in the other, I came across an article on Randy Pausch. I was just getting comfortable with my son as a new part of our life, all of the possibility, all of the potential. And I read how Pausch left his own family. As I considered what I wanted my son to learn from me, I read about what Pausch had taught his own children. The next day, I watched Pausch's last lecture on YouTube, and I cried for Pausch's family and for the gift of my own son. I cried for the fine example of a human being that Pausch proved to be for his children, and that I hope to become for my own family. Then I realized that Randy Pausch did not try to avoid his death. He made it part of his life. And by doing so, he gave his children, and he gave all of us, the gift of his spiritual legacy. The importance of a spiritual legacy is reinforced in our Torah. At the end of the 4th book of the Torah, Numbers, Bamidbar, the Jews complete their wandering in the Sinai wilderness. After this 40-year journey, they finally appear poised to enter the promised land of Eretz Yisrael. Yet, in the last book of the Torah, Deuteronomy, Devarim, the Jews do not enter the land. Despite their eagerness to end their wandering and to return to the land that their ancestors left hundreds of years ago, the Israelites remain beyond the border. With the land just over the horizon, they listen to one last address from Moses. Moses knows that his own death is near. He knows that he is about to leave his beloved people, and without him, they will go into the promised land to build a nation. So he gives them one last gift: the reflections, the wisdom, and lessons that he learned from his many years as their leader. This is the book of Deuteronomy. For Moses, it's much more than a farewell address. It is his spiritual legacy. his last lecture. And the Israelites know that looking back into the life of Moses will help pave the path to their future as a nation. The wisdom of the past will help build the foundation of Israel's future. And by reading the book of Deuteronomy every year, thousands of years later, we too listen. We listen to the lessons of Moses' life and allow it to mold our own dreams, our own lives, and ultimately our own spiritual legacy. Moses and Randy Pausch are welcome reminders to us as we today honor our loved ones who have passed. When we visit the graves of our family members, we revisit their lives. And by considering the lives that they lived, we are encouraged to consider how to live our own lives. Their memories inspire us to remember them, not in the sadness of their death, but in the richness of our own lives. Their memories guide us and implore us to live our lives with meaning and with purpose. By considering the memories of our loved ones, how they lived their lives, and the values that distinguished them, we add blessing to their name by allowing their memory to shape our lives. Our holidays remind us of the importance of this task. Tonight we begin Yom Kippur, and in just a few weeks we conclude the high holidays with the celebration of Simchat Torah. On Simchat Torah, we finish reading the Torah, and then we immediately continue from the beginning. The message is clear. That which is finished forms the foundation for new beginnings. So as we remember those who are no longer with us, let's recall the gift of their last lecture. What are the values and the lessons that defined their lives? When you close your eyes and when you think of them, what do you see? What values, traits, characteristics, and stories color your memory? And how can you incorporate their memory into your own life? Illness shortened Randy Pausch's life, but knowing what he stood for, what he believed in, and how best to live his life allowed him to leave the gift of his last lecture, his spiritual legacy. Today, as we consider the spiritual legacies of our loved ones, may the lessons they reveal bring clarity, inspiration, and blessings to the life we have yet to live. And by recalling our loved ones, may the preservation of what was guide us in shaping what will be. In this new year, may our bright future be grounded in our rich heritage of memories. Shana Tova. Please rise for the El Malei Rachamim.